So I originally planned for this video to come out last week, but I've been so overrun with work and all of the content I've been creating that I decided to take a week off. But here it is, finally, the next wrong build video. This one is all about that BMW i8 and Need for Speed Heat. Let's go. Welcome to the Militia Gaming Community. I'm Trigger, and again, this one is all about that i8 Coupe, that 2018 BMW. This thing was a little bit of a pain in the butt to test. There were a lot of engines for this car. There were like 9, I believe. 10. There were 10 engines for this car, 3 of which were viable and good. The other 7 were not that great. Let's get right into it and let's get you the best engine for this i8 car. After all the testing I've done, and remember, if you haven't seen this series before, the testing I do is I build every single engine to the fullest of its capacity, and then I take it out and test it on Arian. And if I don't have enough data to determine a winner, then I'll test it on Aardvark and Sonic. In this case, I only had to test it on Arian. There was a clear winner for this car, and that is the 591 horsepower 4.4 liter V8. Alright, so we've got this thing built up with Ultimate Plus engine parts and the Ultimate Dual Turbo and the 5x3 pound NOS. In the chassis, we've got the Super Track suspension, Elite brakes, and Elite race tires. For the drivetrain, I'm rocking the Elite Plus clutch, the Elite 7-speed gearbox, which we're going to test here in just a moment, and the Super Track differential. As you can see, the stats are pretty good, but they're fairly modest in terms of the 0 to 60, the torque. The top speed is pretty much the same on all the cars in this game. This one happens to be 235, which is usually about a mile per hour higher than other cars. But potential horsepower, current horsepower, all that stuff is pretty modest. There's not anything that really stands out about this car. But I'm going to tell you something. This was literally the most surprising car to me. I did not expect this car to be as fast as it is. I ran Arian at 255.6. That is insanely fast on the track. That is very, very good. And it starts to rival some of the fastest cars in the game. And I think it's because of the handling model for this car. So let me take this out to Sonic and I'll show it to you while we are testing the gearbox. And I'll just kind of keep in mind the types of things I want out of the gearbox. I think the 7-speed's definitely the right one, but we'll do that test and see what happens. All right, here we go. Sonic test number 1, baby. Let's go. Starts off fairly fast. I already forgot the third bottle. You know I've been off too long because I forgot the third bottle of NOS. Oh my goodness, I don't know how to race anymore. Here we go, take 2. Alright, didn't forget the third bottle that time. Let's go. See if I can control this baby. Alright, not my best, but definitely not bad for taking a week off of content here. Listen, it does well in the early parts of the transmission and the gears. 1, 2, 3, and 4 were really quick. 6 and 7 were pretty slow, but it maintains top speed pretty well. Oh, but I didn't take that turn well at all. Oh my goodness, I'm falling apart. Alright, so far, the car feels really good, just like it did when I was testing the engines. This thing is surprisingly quick. Even though this time is not going to be a fast time for Sonic, it actually feels really good. That was actually not a bad try for that freaking shortcut, dude. I'm super pumped about that. Let's go. I did not expect me to nail that shortcut right away. I think I scrubbed some time still. I handbraked a little bit too hard, but dude, not really that bad. Oh, of course. I nailed the shortcut, but can't do the uphill jump. This car is not bad at all, dude. It is so quick. so close to hitting the wall there. Oh my goodness. Alright, I think we're still going to be in the 40s. But that's alright. We can definitely run this less than that for sure. I made a lot of mistakes. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. At the end. Dude, at the end. Oh my goodness. What did I do? Dude, I said we're still going to be in the 40s. Oh man. Alright, well, besides that enormous wreck at the end of that race, that actually felt really, really good. I was still kind of getting my feet wet. I haven't played the game in about a week. And this is just a very surprising car, man. It feels really, really good. The settings I had when I tested the engines was perfect. It felt really good through the turns, even though I didn't execute that well. But let's... I like it. This is exactly where I left it when I was testing the engines, and I think this is exactly where we're going to leave this build. So let's throw up the track build card real quick. I just wanted to get a feeling for this. I still can't believe that I just rolled the car at the finish line. It's hilarious. All right, let's throw up the build card. Let's talk about the track build for this i8. All right, so as I mentioned before, it's that 4.4 liter V8 engine with the Ultimate Plus engine parts and the Ultimate Dual Turbo, Ultimate 5x3 pound NOS, Super Track suspension, Elite brakes, Elite race tires, Elite Plus clutch, Elite 7-speed gearbox, and the Super Track differential with the auxiliaries of NOS duration and NOS refills. That's perfect for racing. I was gonna swap to a different gearbox, but I'm gonna stick with the 7 because it really does perform the best. And after driving it on Sonic, even though it wasn't my best driving, we'll be honest, but after driving it on Sonic, I remember why I picked the 7. The 7 really holds RPMs throughout some of the tighter turns, whereas the 6 is a little bit too low of a gear, I should say, and then it wants to upshift coming out of a turn, but it doesn't know that you're about to go into another turn, so it's in the wrong gear often, and so for that reason, I'm definitely going with the 7 for this car. This thing performs very, very well. As I said, I ran a 255 on Arian, which is not easy to do. Most cars cannot run anything near the mid 250s. Some of the fastest cars in the game are right at 250. So this is definitely a legitimate race car, but let's just see what happens when we build it for drag. All right, to switch this car from a track build into a drag build, there's generally only a couple of things you need to change. One is the NOS. You want to switch to a 1x15. The other is the tires. You want to switch to drag tires. And the last thing is to test the gearboxes to find out which one does the best quarter mile. Now, here's the interesting thing about this car that I haven't found with any other car, and that is that the drag tires offer a slower quarter mile time than the race tires, which got me thinking maybe the track tires are going to run it even faster than the race tires. So this is weird. Usually drag tires are what you want for acceleration, for traction off the line. In this case, it just doesn't help this car at all. It actually makes the quarter mile quite a bit worse. So with the track build, I was able to get a quarter mile of 8.90. With the drag tires, it puts it up to 9.17. So this is just not the build that you want for these tires. You're going to definitely want either a race tire or a track tire, but we're going to test that right now. All right, so here's with the drag tires, 9.17. Let's swap over to the track tires and see what it's going to give me. 8.90, and that's the same as the race tires. So literally the only thing you need to do in order to make this a drag car is swap to the 1x15 pound NOS tank and you're good to go. The track build is the fastest drag build. Now we do want to look at the gearboxes, and I'm pretty sure that the 7-speed is going to be the best one, but let's just take a look real quick. So we remember we have an 8.90 with the 7-speed. Let's swap to the 6. 8.90 on the 6, which means the 5 is going to be slower as well. So the slowest one being the 5-speed, let's see. Yep, 8.97. So that's it. the track build is the drag build on this one. So let's go ahead and throw up that build card, and I'll tell you what it is right now. All right, so again, we're using the 4.4 liter V8s. All of the same parts on this as the track build, with the exception of the 1x15 pound NOS tank. Everything else in this build is exactly the same as your track build, but you can take a screenshot of this build card just because I made it. All right, let's move on to the drift build. Let's see if we can't get this thing to slide around a little bit. All right, my first thought on this is actually to make it into an all-wheel drive drift setup, which requires a couple of different parts. It's not just like slap all the drift stuff on there and then watch it slide around. That's not how it works. So let's set this up the correct way. All right, so what you want to do is switch to the showcase suspension. I use the super showcase suspension, an elite drift tire, and then the sport drift differential. So this is the all-wheel drive drift setup that I usually use, and we cannot forget about the tire smoke. For this white one, let's go with purple violet smoke. We're going violet smoke for sure. All right, here we go. Let's get some drifties going. Oh, this feels great, dude. It's not scoring very high. But it feels great to control. Get out of here. Don't honk at me. I'm drifting. 45,000, bro. Hey, this is nice. This feels really good. This is it. This is the build. I was right. It's a all-wheel drive drift build, baby. Let's go have some fun. All right, this thing is too fun. This is a very, very good for style drifting. It is fun to drift. It does not score high, but it is fun to drive in a drift mode. So let's give you the full drift build. Throw up the drift card. Same engine, 4.4 liter V8, all Ultimate Plus engine parts with the Ultimate Dual Turbo, and the 5x3 pound NOS tank, even though the NOS doesn't matter at all on this one. But here's what does matter. The chassis. You need the Super Showcase suspension, the Elite brakes, and the Elite Drift tires. Then for the drivetrain, you want the Elite Plus clutch and the Elite 7-speed gearbox. And one of the most important parts of this whole thing is the Sport Drift differential. That's what you need for this drift build. Everything else is pretty irrelevant, but those three parts, you need the suspension, the tires, and the differential. That's what makes the drift build for this car. All right. Let's take this thing off-road. All right, to get this thing ready, we're gonna switch that suspension again. We're going with that rally suspension. We're gonna swap the tires over to off-road tires. And then we've got to switch the differential as well to a rally differential, and we're gonna be going with that super rally differential. All right, this is it, it's ready to go. Let's take it on HTV2 and Rumble. Let's see how it does compared to the other cars. All right, a good time for HTV2 is anything around 152. Anything below that is really good. Anything above that is sort of bad. So we're looking to get under 152. Let's see what happens. HTV2 test, here we go. Very slow start. It just wanted to spin its wheels on that pavement, which is pretty common, but not great for the overall time. All right, it's got decent speed on the dirt. And it's okay on the pavement. Turning is just okay in the dirt. It's a little slow to get turned around, but it's not bad. All right, are we gonna hit that 152 mark? It looks like we might, and I hit the barriers at the end. I gotta run this back. That was the difference between 152 and under. I'm gonna run it back. I'll be right back. Oh, we got this. I think it's 150. We got a 150. 150.14. That is on the fast side. This is a decently fast car off-road, but let's see how it does on Rumble, because Rumble is a much more wide open track. All right, here we go. Rumble test. Yeah, not the fastest starter, that's for sure. Feels pretty good otherwise. Oh, it gets a little clippy there. That's not good. It's kind of weird that it got clippy there, because it actually didn't do that very much on HTV2. See, it's clipping all over the place, which is definitely going to cause it to have a slower time. All right, let's stay clip free here. All right, there we go. Come on. Little help from my friends. Gotta take that inside route. Passing second place on that turn is pretty incredible. This time feels really good. I don't know though, I think we're still gonna be above 3 minutes, so maybe the AI just got really slow. 3:14, baby. 3:14.42. All right, with this, the time of 150 on HTV2 and 3:14, this is gonna put us in the same category as like the Corvette Grand Sport in terms of off-road. So we'll show you the list, the full off-road list, but this is an okay off-road car. Actually, it feels pretty good. The only complaint I have is that it clips way too much on the ground. But let's go ahead and show the build card, and then we'll summarize the video. We'll call it a day. All right, for the off-road build, we got the 4.4 liter V8, all Ultimate Plus engine parts, Ultimate Dual Turbo, Ultimate 5x3 pound NOS. It's all the same. In the chassis, we got the Super Rally suspension, the Elite brakes, and the Elite off-road tires, Elite Plus clutch, Elite 7-speed gearbox, Super Rally differential, NOS duration, and NOS refills if you're racing. And that's it for this build. Actually, let's talk about the live tuning real quick. I know I didn't talk about live tuning on all the other builds, but they are on the build card. Look at the build card, that shows the live tuning for each one. For this one, let's get off this race here. This is important actually, because the live tuning for the off-road needed to change. Steering sensitivity needs to be all the way up on this. This car is, let's call it a slow turner. Off-road, it doesn't turn as sharply as you want it to. Steering sensitivity all the way up, downforce all the way down, traction control off, drift style on brake. And then for all the other live tunings, I know I didn't say it in the video, but they are on the build cards, so go back and look at the build cards for the live tunings. Let's sum this up. All right, so what do I think about this BMW i8? I think it is the most surprising car I've driven in Need for Speed Heat. I did not expect this car to be fast at all. I thought it was going to be quite slow. I thought it was going to turn like garbage. It's an all-wheel drive car. I just didn't expect anything from it. And on top of that, it's not really my favorite looking car. So I wasn't that excited to test this, but then after I tested the engines, this car is actually really good. I mean, it's a top 20 car in terms of track racing. It actually is very fast for what it is. And on top of that, it's a really fun drift car and a very good, not great, but very good off-road car. The only place where it really struggles, and it's the one place where this car should excel in, is the drag racing. It's a half electric, all-wheel drive car. This thing should have insane quarter-mile speed, and it really doesn't. This thing is in the bottom of the drag racing ranks in the drag racing leaderboards for the cars that I've tested, but it's near the top for track racing. It is a very fun drift car, and it's near the middle to top middle of the off-road cars. So yeah, definitely the most surprising car I've tested to date for sure. All right, that's it for this one, guys. Thank you for watching another Wrong Build video. Just remember that I'll be streaming my Crew 2 summits every Tuesday night at 9, and I'm possibly adding a Need for Speed day here in the near future. Thank you so much for watching again. Shout out to all the Militia subs. I'll catch you on the next one. Trigger out.